Hey, welcome, welcome. We got something very special today. It's one of the biggest mod packs out there. It's one of the most hardcore survival experiences you can get. I bet like Todd Howard would be jealous if he had a team that could do something as complex and immersive and breathing environmental as this game, right? It's quite the feat that this thing runs on the Steam Deck. It has like over 500 mods in it. It's over 100 gigs in size, and GOG made a one-click installer for it. So now it's quite easy to get it going on the Steam Deck. It's not quite one click, but it's doable. And let me show you. Like I am running. Oh, not even on native right now. I was playing around with the settings, but usually I'm just playing on native here. I have kept the FPS to 42 because that keeps it quite smooth for me for playing. I rather have it, and I have some overhead for the more demanding areas and my battery to breathe. Right now it's at like total power of 18 watts and on average, I think. So it's 2 to 3 hours of battery time. So I'm going to show you a bit more of these settings in just a bit. Let me show you how it looks, right? You want us to sure see how it runs. Not too bad, is it? Looks quite decent on the Steam Deck. The screen makes it pop, and the frame time is quite decent. Sometimes you have smaller hitches, also like firing guns or loading in new areas. But overall, it's quite a playable experience, and I had a good time with it so far. So I can uncap it for a moment just for you to see what it looks like, how high we can get, right? And I can show you my settings because as you can see, my draw distance is quite high here, huh? So it's not on low settings at all. We are playing on the DX9 version. There's another DX11 version that is available that has some more shaders and more advanced graphical tools in it, which I think are overkill for the Steam Deck, but maybe I can show it at the end, how that version looks. So as you can see, rendering distance, I cranked it up to the max. It's just, personally, I love it. I love seeing the landmarks in the distance. I love seeing the NPCs and the monsters when they are far away before they jump me. And I have reduced a bit of the detail. I think it's fine. I think it looks good. I turned off aliasing as much as I could because I do not like how it is implemented in this game. Not because of the frames, but because I really didn't like the look of it that much. The grass I turned down. Also, it does make quite the impact, especially with shadows if you turn it up. It's probably easier to turn up the size and leave the density a bit lower because it can have quite the performance impact, and for me it's not worth it, and I don't really like having too much foliage anyways, although I think it's design of anomaly. Here, if you really want to have a crazy nice experience with high frames, low graphics, use this setting here. So I wanted to show you how many frames you're getting like this, and I can show you. Alright, we're out here, 60 frames uncapped. It's quite alright. Of course, the frame graph is always a bit more choppy when we are uncapped. So let me show you the impact of these settings. So the biggest one, I think, is the sun shadows down here. They also make a huge visual impact. So when we get back in here now, you can see the difference, right? Yeah, you can see it right away, but you can also see the difference in the frames per second. We are almost 15, 20 frames higher than before. That does, I mean, it is also a bit of a stylistic style. Like if you really like the more grim, more dark style of the game, yeah, I could see you just turning it up, going like that for the gameplay. I personally really like it, how it looks with the shadows. Let me show you another tweak that you can do if you just want to have high frames, but you still want to have the look of the shadows, and that's turn this off. You can see here down here these settings as like the sun rays. I think they weren't such a big impact for me, and ambient occlusion also wasn't such a big impact, so I think it is fine to keep it on. You could reduce it a bit. And I turned off all the effects. I have not really looked for the differences with soft water and particles yet, but depth of field and motion blur I usually always turn off. So I wanted to show you that you can use the Steam Deck's FSR, built-in FSR, right, to upscale a bit. Like this was probably then from balance around here, I guess. So you could use that instead of turning off the shadows, and you would also be probably getting close to a stable 60 FPS with it. It says that sometimes, but usually still swaps it. So you can see that it is now using FSR with the shadows on, and we are not getting as high a frame rate as with the shadows off, but it is almost at 60. And we could cap it at 60, I think, almost. So personally, I rather have a bit more battery, so I cap it lower. And then there's one more thing that I really want to show you, and that's the light settings that they have here in the options. So let me turn it up a bit. Yeah, this is my sweet spot. I want to have it here again. And when you go into the basic options, you have here the basic light settings. Oh, let me also go back up to native. So these basic light settings let you just adjust the look of the game. It's not really for performance at all, but you can change the brightness, the gamma, and the saturation. And I turned up the saturation quite a bit, and it's kind of a difference of the feel, right? This looks more like Fallout 3, while here you're getting to Fallout 4. Right? I prefer my wasteland looking like this. And like, of course, I mean, classic Stalker is also more towards lower saturation, right? So that's a very interesting setting to know about and to see and to use. Oh, that lost the console. Sorry. So that's pretty much how you can play the Gamma version on the Steam Deck, and I think this settings the 42 for handheld, as I said, 18 watts on average that I'm using. That's a total, I mean. So you can get 3 hours of playtime with that, of one charge. And as I said, it's a crazily complex game. The systems that are all added, right? Added systems for medicine. You can see in the bottom left how much damage you can take. It's kind of a bit like Tarkov. There's a lot of weapon mods, a bunch of different weapons, a lot of different audio has been added for the weapons, for the environment, everything. There has been game systems changed, right? There's the NPCs, and the world is quite dynamic. It's more of an emergent gameplay. Right? It is a survival game, I think I would call it at heart. You try to survive in the wasteland here, or in the zone, as it's called, and it's hard, it's tough, and you are not the chosen one. You are just cog in the machine here. There's stuff going on around you. There's factions fighting, right? It's Stalker, and you can kind of make things happen and help certain factions, join them, do quests for them, get traders going, but you are not the one who's like the ruler or the chosen one. It's a tough game. It's quite interesting, and it has so much in it. I think you can wait 2 decades or more until a AAA studio will be able to do anything close to the complexity of a game like this one. Yeah, so I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna boot up the DX11 version and show you how that one looks and runs. Well, that was fast. Magic of filmmaking, and I'm here already. No, swapping the version is not that hard. It's just changing the profile and deleting the shader cache, and you're good to go. But loading into the game from the SD card takes quite a bit of time. So beware if you want to shut the game down and load it again, it might take a bit. So this is the DX11 version. You can see the difference immediately in the visuals and in the frame rate. So as you can see, these are the basic settings now on native, and it's barely at 30. So I think if you want to play this version, you could try to cap it at 30 and get a playable frame rate there. You can see that it looks quite a bit different, right? It does look pretty, but Steam Deck is struggling to deal with this. So let's change some options here. I think the first thing to do is use FSR if you want to play this. So let's go back to where we were before. So our balance, my guess, is this. And I think we should probably also cap the frame rate at like 30 to be able to really enjoy this, because yeah, I mean, it's kind of okay, but there are more demanding areas in this game than where we are right now. So we would have to look at those as well. I haven't been there yet. But if we, let's say, if we want to play 30 at this in this version, let's try it out. Let's go down here. See how our frame times are now. They are also quite smooth here, right? So if you wanna play 30, you have the DX11 version with the new shaders. The Steam Deck can barely run it. Like, some people like it, I prefer the other way, right? But I mean, if that's your jam, it's your jam. And then let me show you where most of the settings are here. The DX11 version has many graphics mods and shader mods, which a lot of these settings that we looked at here move over to. Like, for example, okay, probably we should also maybe reduce a bit of the viewing distance to get some more frames out of it. And you could also say, all right, I play this version without the shadows, and it's probably gonna be playable. Like, if that is more your style, you could probably also increase the frame rate here. Let's see. I think without the shadows and FSR, I think we can go back to our 42. Oops. There we go. And yeah, like without the sun shadows, I think you could make this version work. Let me show you the settings now. The settings are in the mod configuration menu. Here's a lot of mods in there that you can change the settings from, and then there's down here you find the SSS, the shader settings, with a bunch of graphical mods where you could change the quality or the rendering resolution to get more frames out of it. right? You could turn off reflections. Probably a good impact, screen space reflections usually. And it also has here the slider for the weapons depth of field. I couldn't find it in the DX9 version. I could only find it in the DX11. You can just turn it off here, you know. It doesn't blur your screen while you're aiming. And there's a lot more settings there than to tweak and make happen for you. So I still do not prefer this one without shadows over the other one. So let me turn them back on and let's see where we are with our frame rate here. I want to see who's shooting. Well, it doesn't really matter right now, right? Let's go. Bring the shadows back. You see it's struggling to stay at 40. Alright. That nice thing about this game, right, is that it's very dynamic. Like there will be people fighting with monsters, people fighting with other factions, and you can just join in or let them do their thing. Stand in some point and snipe the survivors, whatever you feel like as like a stalker trying to survive to the next day. It's not easy, right? You try to get what you can get. So this version, you could reduce this even more to get some more frames. Could reduce some of the settings that I have in here even more. But I really think the DX9 version runs better on the Steam Deck. What I haven't shown you is my performance setting in the Steam overlay. I have kept the display rate, the refresh rate to 42, and I've set the GPU clock to 1600, because we have the power budget anyways. You see our CPU. Well, that's not because this game doesn't need much CPU power. It could use a lot more, but it's single-threaded, right? It can only use the one CPU core, so that's why we're stuck at 25%. And I wish it would be full if we could use more of it, right? But unfortunately, the engine is quite old. Yeah, another thing maybe that's important if you want to play it on the Steam Deck are the controls. I have right now I'm docked, right? I have keyboard and mouse, but for playing on a controller, I have taken controller config from the normal game. You can do that if you just rename. Wait, let me see if I can show it to you here. View game details maybe. So if you rename your game to 4500, you will be getting the, access to the community configs from the original Stalker, and you can use that to then get your setup working. So that was the wrong one. So if I go here now to the community layouts, you will see here all the Stalker controls from the original game, and that's at least a good starting point. You could also use any of the other Stalker games. You just have to find their ID number on SteamDB, put it into the name, and then you can use the controller configs. So for installation of the game, you get the GOG version, download it. I did it with Heroic and installed it. Used Winetricks to install some DX files or libraries, components, and started it with the mod organizer. That's pretty much all you gotta do. Like if people want to, I can do like a small video guide on how to install it if you need some help. But other than that, you can get this game working if you want. Just beware, it takes a lot of storage, so have some free room on your internal drive or SD card. Alright. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. I'm gonna go grab some tea. And bye bye.